Moving on to the next era of Dance Dance Revolution, and things are about to get a bit more interesting. DDR's second era began on October 19th of 2001, 7 months after 5th Mix was released. Yeah, arcade games had dumb release schedules, but it was a different time. It was on that day that Konami unveiled the next DDR title, DDR MAX, Dance Dance Revolution 6 Mix. DDR MAX boasted many more inclusions and changes than past games, making it a sequel in the truest sense of the word. This has seen praise and derision alike. DDR MAX retains the interface layout introduced in 5th Mix, but switches out the mostly blue and yellow color scheme for a brighter gray and yellow palette. The song wheel portion is where the changes really show. Difficulty names remain, but difficulty ratings are absent. They've been replaced with a radar graph known as the Groove Radar. The Groove Radar is broken down into 5 individual values: stream, chaos, freeze, air, and voltage. Stream is the overall density of a step pattern. Contributing factors to this value are the amount of steps in a pattern and their frequency. Chaos refers to the irregularity in a song's rhythm. Songs with a high chaos reading typically have a polyrhythmic flow, containing arrows beyond the normal 4th and 8th values. Expect a lot of offbeats in songs of this nature. Freeze is a new mechanic introduced in DDR MAX, whereby you step on and hold an arrow for a determined amount of time. The freeze value is calculated by the amount and length of freeze notes. Although length is a bigger contributor, air calculates the amount of jumps in a pattern. In rhythm game parlance, a jump is a pair of arrows that must be stepped on simultaneously, called so because this sees the player performing a short leap or jump to hit it. Voltage refers to the highest area of activity in a step pattern. The greater the voltage, the more active a single section will be. There is an overlap between voltage and stream, and songs with high stream values also tend to have high voltage values, but they're not the same. It's a less intuitive system than simply rating a song on a scale of 1 to 9, but it's certainly a more detailed evaluation. Not that everyone sees it that way though. Some people even dislike the Groove Radar because it's unintuitive. DDR MAX also introduced the modifier menu, which allows players to alter their gameplay experience in various ways. It replaces the old method of inputting codes to enable modifiers and can be accessed by holding the start button down after selecting a song. Through this menu, aspects of the gameplay can be changed to fit personal preferences, such as the colors of the arrows, the orientation and visibility of a step pattern, and the speed at which the arrows scroll. The latter seems counterproductive at first glance, but it's the most necessary of these options. Fast scrolling speeds space the arrows out and allow players to read them more reasonably, as opposed to having the arrows scroll slowly in a cluttered mess. Music-wise, DDR MAX replaces the first era's song list with a fresh new one, and by replace, I mean replace. There are no returning songs here at all. You can guess for yourself how pissed off a lot of fans were. Plus, the new song list only consists of 42 songs, which is definitely a huge downgrade. But as the saying goes, it's quality over quantity. What do you get with the music of DDR MAX? Some really stellar hits. The game caters to Eurobeat like 5th Mix did, and adds trance into the mix as well. The diversity still remains, but those two genres take the forefront here. Noteworthy licenses are Flash in the Night by Flashman,
In the night, it's the light shining from your body. Flash in the night, it's alright, let keep me alive.
cover of The Wizard of Oz's Somewhere Over the Rainbow by Cosmic Gate, So Deep Perfect Sphere remix by Silvertier. Konami originals worth checking out are Orion 78 Civilization Mix, Healing Vision Angelic Mix, and Exotic Ethnic, all composed by Naoki. But Orion and Healing Vision are both remixed by Bemani veteran Yuichi Asami under his alias 2MB. But wait! There's more! DDR MAX sees yet another major introduction in the form of the extra stage system. By clearing the final stage on heavy difficulty with at least a AA rank, you get access to an additional stage and the opportunity to play the first ever official boss song of DDR, Max 300, composed by Naoki under his Omega alias. Clocking in at a blazing fast 300 beats per minute and packing 555 arrows in its pattern, it was far and above the hardest song at the time. The conditions you play this song under are not exactly forgiving either, locking you at reverse scroll, the life bar being unrecoverable, and the arrows scrolling 50% faster. But wait! There's more! If you're somehow blessed with prosthetic legs and clear Max 300 with a AA rank, you're greeted to one more extra stage. No, really. That's what it's called. For this additional stage, you're locked to the final boss of DDR MAX. Yup, this is it. Candy, by Naoki's Love Unlimited alias. Sounds easy, right? Tell that to the all or nothing conditions you play the song under. Break your combo once during this song, and it's game over. So yeah, have fun. DDR MAX experimented with and added to the formula of the series, not unlike the other games before it, but it came with more concessions than its predecessors. It was as much a large step forward as it was a departure from the old. DDR MAX2, the next entry in the series, can be seen as an attempt by Konami to meet the fanbase halfway, combining the additions from DDR MAX and elements of the older games. The game dons a darker aesthetic than the last game did, evident in the color scheme of black, gray, and warm colors like orange and red. Interfaces function the same as they did before, but now with the return of level ratings and an increase in scale, from a 1 to 9 scale to a 1 to 10 scale. This effectively gives the returning DDR MAX songs their own level ratings, and by extension, retroactively makes Max 300 the first level 10 or 10-footer song in Dance Dance Revolution. Although So Deep was also initially rated a 10 during the location test before being bumped down to a 9. To further appease the fanbase, Max2's song list combines brand new music and revivals of beloved classic Konami original tunes. Among the licensed tracks new to this mix, highlights are Stay by Tess,
Stay with me, don't walk away, take my hand, I want you to stay by my side, night and day, night and day.
Laka Laka by Jenny Rom vs. The Zippers, Reflex by Duran Duran, which I'm not gonna play because record labels are filthy, greedy douchebags, and the remix of Faith Hill's There You'll Be by DJ Speedo featuring Angelica.
Images I'll always see, a story about the sky. In my heart there'll always be a place for you for all my life.
If that last one sounds eerily familiar, that's because it was in the 2001 Michael Bay war drama film Pearl Harbor. Konami originals worth your attention are Burning Heat, Tsugaru, and Sweet Sweet Love Magic. That last song is the debut of a brand new Konami in-house artist, Junko Karashima, better known by her alias, Jun. And since then, she would contribute not only to Dance Dance Revolution, but to the whole Bemani family. And yes, Burning Heat is indeed a remix of a famous tune from Gradius. MAX2 also introduced a new mode called the Challenge Mode, or Oni in Japanese. It works like non-stop mode, in that you play a certain number of songs without any breaks in between. But that's as far as similarities go, as Challenge is a much more punishing endeavor. For starters, modifiers cannot be applied during gameplay in this mode, whereas in non-stop mode, they're permitted. So if you're bad at reading at a slow scroll speed, or are more accustomed to a certain palette of arrow colors, you might experience some trouble. Second of all, Challenge mode uses a special type of life bar called battery. The name comes from the battery-shaped appearance of the life bar itself and the solid segments the life bar is comprised of. The segments represent the amount of misses you're permitted before the game ends, the maximum of which is 4. And finally, whereas non-stop mode courses always contain 4 songs, challenge mode courses vary in length. The minimum is 5 songs, but courses can have up to 10. Challenge mode is, as the name states, a challenge. If you want to gauge your skill at the game, this mode just might be what you're looking for. The extra stage system makes a return in MAX2. For this mix, upon completing the final stage with a minimum AA rank on Heavy, you will be greeted to the fearsome Max Unlimited by Naoki Z Alias. The sequel to Max 300, and a noticeable spike in difficulty. Why? How does 320 beats per minute sound to you? What's that? It's fast? There's your answer. Do well on this monstrosity, and your one more extra stage will be Kakume, a dance remix of Frédéric Chopin's Revolutionary Etude by Naoki and fellow Bemani alumni Takayuki Ishikawa, better known as DJ Taka. The conditions are the same. One mistake is an instant game over. Incidentally, Kakume is the Japanese word for revolution. How fitting. Dance Dance Revolution 2nd Era concludes with DDR Extreme, hands down the most well-known and ubiquitous entry in the series. If you come across a DDR cabinet, 9 times out of 10, it will be running this mix. Originally rumored to be the grand finale to the series, DDR Extreme was released on Christmas Day of 2002, and it pulled out all the stops to give the consummate DDR experience. Every little thing about this mix exuded life. From the bright and warm color palette in the interfaces, to the lively background music that greets you upon the start of a new game. And that's only scratching the surface. Extreme is the rhythm game equivalent of a greatest hits album. The music selection is comprised of both revivals from all past mixes and brand new tracks. I mean, just take a look at this. That is 8 games worth of stellar music in one complete package. Doesn't it make your mouth water? Well, if you're a rhythm gamer like me anyway. It only makes sense that so much content is jam-packed into what people at first claimed to be the last hurrah for Dance Dance Revolution. Among the new licensed music, the 3 highlights are I Do, I Do, I Do by Creamy, Speed Over Beethoven by Rose, and Cartoon Heroes Speedy Mix by Barbie Young. Konami original highlights are Tears, Love Shine, Sakura, and Graduation, Sore Zore no Ashita, which translates to Every Tomorrow. the latter generally being the most overplayed song in this mix by virtue of casual gamers not knowing how to navigate the interfaces. Guys, it's the 2 arrow buttons and the rectangular button underneath the freaking monitor! Get it through your heads! Sorry? DDR has crossed over with Beatmania on an occasion or two in the past, but it's in this game where the series has become more ambitious with its collaborations. Extreme Song List also sees music from other Bemani rhythm games, from Pop-In Music, to Guitar Freaks and Drum Mania, to even now defunct series like Keyboard Mania, make their first DDR appearance here. So, sorry Russo brothers. You guys were beat on the whole ambitious crossover thing by about 16 years. Gameplay-wise, not much has changed really. Not that there was even much to change, apart from the tiniest of nuances. Nor was there any need to change. It's as tight, exhilarating, and fun as you'd expect DDR to be, except now you can revisit the classics from previous entries, with the additions that were introduced later down the line for a more streamlined experience. As has become tradition with DDR up to this point, Extreme sees a healthy jump and challenge for those who seek it. The extra stage song, The Legend of Max by Naoki's Double Z alias, is the third installment in the Max song series. And it's even faster than its brethren, at 333 beats per minute. Meanwhile, the one more extra stage song is simply titled Dance Dance Revolution, a medley of the opening themes for the first 4 mixes.
Move your body. Move your body.
The song's step chart is itself a medley, sampling sections of charts of the series' most iconic songs. The conditions remain the same as in the prior 2 games. One combo drop is instant failure. But the challenge doesn't stop there. Both non-stop and challenge modes return virtually unchanged, save for the addition of all new, and in the latter's case that is, brutal courses. Of note is the notorious Legend Road, which is a boss rush per se, as it contains all 3 Max songs, Sakura, and the challenge mode hidden step chart, Paranoia Survivor Max, known within the community as PSMO, O standing for Oni, or Demon in Japanese, and the original difficulty name for challenge over there in Japan. At the time, this pattern alone was the ultimate DDR test, a mixture of sheer brute force due to the unforgiving 290 beats per minute and technical footwork from the BPM fluctuations and complex sections across the pattern. But when put together with 4 other high-tier songs, it makes for one nightmarish time. DDR Extreme epitomized the franchise's essence so well that to this day, its praises continue to be sung by a healthy chunk of fans. There's just something so timeless about this title that can't be adequately put into words, even with all this praise. It's been such an entrenched fixture into the greater Dance Dance Revolution community that it seems obligatory for a fan to have their very own cabinet running this very game in the comfort of their home. Then again, it's not that it is obligatory, it only feels that way. The reverence towards Extreme has even led to a community-driven effort known as Extreme Pro, an updated version of the game that welds modern sensibilities into the classic title to improve upon the experience further. Maybe it's a sign of an inability to let go of the past, but this sort of effort speaks volumes for both the game's remarkable age and the community's devotion to the series. On the tangent of modern touches, the third era of Dance Dance Revolution manages to be interesting in its own right. If you thought that fans were fractured over the changes introduced in this era, or that the landscape of the franchise would never be the same again, let me tell you that it's only the beginning, and I look forward to exploring this aspect of the franchise, and I hope you'll join me for that too. Till next time.